Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to project, what's it called? Gluey. Have you come up with a better name? You've seen the first video. I'm recording this video before you've seen the first video, so I don't know whether we've got another name or not. We could still be looking at Project Gluey. It's not here. As you can see, hello plane. It is in front of the house, wherever the house is, that way. And we need to get it here in reverse so we can start taking stuff off and having a look at the damage at the back. So let me just get it in front of the house and we'll get on with it and see what the damage is. Let's go, let's do it. Right, there's the car in position now, ready to get that back bumper off. We'll have to move it, of course, because I won't be able to get to the wheel there, but I'm just parking it up there for the time being. We're not actually starting this yet. We're starting this in a few days' time. Still got work to do on other cars, but we are going to make a start and see what else is there, because if I do need to get one of those bars, I want to get it ordered. So probably from my perspective it will be almost a week's time. From your perspective it will be right now. So let's do it, let's get the bumper off. Right, quite a few days have passed since you saw that last little clip, and I've been getting very frustrated because I have not been able to make a start on this. So it's well over a week since I filmed that. Work's got in the way and I had to get Project Barry finished off. And now today I've had to just do some work on a Twin Air, which you may have seen a little video on, or that may be yet to come. That was just for somebody, wasn't one of my cars, but it was a lady who wanted to buy one of mine. I didn't have one at the time, so she went elsewhere, and I'll tell you the story on that actually on the other video. But yeah, not good. But we are now on this one, my lovely little grey Campervola grey Fiat 500 Abarth. So it's not a 595, as I've said before. And I don't know if that's blood there. I've not done anything to this. The only thing I have done is I've taken the wax crayon off the front windscreen. Apart from that, literally nothing. Haven't cleaned it, nothing. I was going to clean it before I made a start, but which is what I normally do. But as you can see, it's been, and it is still raining a little bit. So I decided to just crack on. So I am intrigued to see what's going on behind this bumper. We know there is something going on behind here. We know that we've got a bit of damage in the boot. And I'm hoping to get this done today with a bit of luck. So we're going to set you up. We're going to jack the car up a little bit just to raise the wheels, or raise the body off of the wheels so I can get to the screws a bit easier. If we can get those screws undone without jacking it up, putting it on stands and getting the wheels off, so much better. We'll get the bumper off, we'll have a look underneath, and I will come back to you when the bumper's off. So let's do it. as you probably saw, that was the most difficult job, getting that bumper off. I couldn't get the screws undone on the arch liner. They would not come undone. They were rusted to hell. And I had to just rip them off, and obviously it didn't matter that I was damaging the bumper in the process, because of course the bumper's going in the bin anyway. The rear beam has escaped damage completely, which is good actually. Yeah, I am pleased that that has done that, and the damage is where I thought it was. Basically this has been pushed in, which is what I thought. So that is the outer skin, which I'm hoping we can get to from there, or we can get to from there and there. So that needs pushing back a little bit, and that needs pushing back a lot. So whatever's hit it has missed the beam entirely and hit that bit. So that's where the damage is. So it's sort of what we expected, and to a degree it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. I did think I was probably going to have to replace this back bar, but that's not the case. It's literally not been touched. The impact has gone higher than that. So as you can see there, that should be completely straight just there, and it's caved in. What I didn't think of course, which is the bracket. So of course we're missing the piece of bracket just there, or there's just a little remnant of it. So we'll have to, I don't think we've got one, because we replaced, I bought a set of 3 before on a previous car. We didn't need the middle one, and I don't think we needed that one, and that's the one we needed. And of course that's the one that's gone, so I'm probably gonna have to buy another one. I will double check out the back of the garage, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So that doesn't really explain why the exhaust is backwards a little bit, unless, yeah, no, that doesn't really explain why that is back. So we'll have to have a look at that, because I was expecting that to have bent, but it hasn't. So that's quite strange. It definitely hasn't caught it underneath. It's only that back bit. So that's a bit odd, but we'll sort that out, no doubt. Yeah, so no damage here. So it's all here. It's literally on that corner. So that is why it's a Cat S. So it shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. So it depends on how I'm going to do this. So what I'm going to try and do, if I can, as I mentioned earlier, I've got my little contraption that I made, and I'm going to try and push off. So we push off here and get it in there with a narrow, either the narrow claws that I've got on it that I can push it with, or maybe get a piece of wood on the end of it or something that we can then push in between those gaps. I mean, that gap's quite big, that one's not quite so big, but it's good that it hasn't damaged this bit. That's good. It hasn't pushed that at all. Yeah, it's not too bad. The centre bar's not gone. So I think what I'm going to do to start with is get it cleaned up under here, because I don't like working in this filth. Of course, it's always like this when you take a bumper off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the wheels back on, just so we can lower it back down again, because it doesn't need to be up in the air to do this. I just did that. I ended up taking the wheels off because I just couldn't get those screws undone, and it was just to enable me to try and get them undone. As it happened, I couldn't, but c'est la vie. Now, the other option is I pull that out. I could sink my anchor in the ground, which I still have got to do, and I still want to do that. And then I can use the porta power, because I've got the pulling kit as well. So I could pull that. But before I do that, I'm going to try pushing it from the other side and see how it goes. It might need a bit of pulling, a bit of pushing. I may even drill some holes and use a heavyweight bar on it if I can't push it out enough to get it straight, because it needs to be straight, or as straight as I can get it. Yeah, and then we'll get one of those brackets ordered if I need one, which I think I do. Yeah, shouldn't be too bad. I have got a bumper. Let me just go and show you the bumper. So this is the bumper I've got, because as I told you, I'm going to do a conversion on it. So it's your eyes don't deceive you. It is white. So I will be taking the lights out. It's got parking sensors as well, which is a bonus. Although it only has 3, and the old one has 4. So I may have to do a bit of jiggery pokery there. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. I don't know whether 3 will work. I may be able to just plug 3 in. Hopefully that will be the case, because obviously the loom's going to be different, isn't it, I guess. But we'll get around that. We'll cross that bridge as and when. That's not the issue at the moment. So yeah, we'll take the lights out, we'll take that bottom bit out, and then we'll and the little grills at the end, and then we'll paint that. Yeah. And we've got the paint to paint it, so that's the bumper. So that will be going on, and that will be painted to colour. Right, so I guess we need to get on with this, don't we? Quite looking forward to it. I more look forward to getting bits like this done than doing them, but yeah, quite looking forward to it. As you know, I've got the rear lights to go in as well. There doesn't appear to be any damage to the actual light aperture. I mean, it might be slightly pushed up there, possibly, slightly, but obviously when I pull that out, that will push that down. If not, we'll heat it up and bash it out as well. But yeah, no, it should be all right. Should be okay. Let's do it, let's get on with it. Right, it's all cleaned up as much as I can. I'll give it another clean when it's all done, and because that's probably going to get damaged, I'm probably going to drill into that and pull it out and what have you, so that'll all be sorted out, sealant and stuff and paint, and so it'll all be nice and clean. I've emptied the boot out, so I'm going to get my little contraption in here. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not doing that, but I'm certainly going to try, because there's nowhere else I can push off. It's probably not going to take much pushing, to be honest. I think I'll drill that rivet out down there before I do that. Right, what I thought I'd do first, so I've removed that bracket. So I thought what I'd do first, seeing as there's a hole there where the rivet goes in, what I thought I'd do is I'd use this first, just to see what I can do with this. So I've sort of screwed that in a bit. I'm just going to heat it up a little bit, or quite a lot, and then I'm going to, actually I might take that rubber off there. Yeah, I'm just going to do that, and then see what I can pull out from there. So once we've got that screwed onto there, we can pull that out a little bit. We'll see before we start to push. So let's give it a go. I'm just going to heat this up. Oh, I can feel the heat coming off of that. Right, let's see what we can do with this. It might not do anything. that did a lot, didn't it? Screw that in quite a way. A little bit more heat. Didn't do very much, unfortunately. Yeah, it has done it a bit. It's brought it out a bit. Not a lot, but it's brought it out a little bit. Let's give it a tap on the top. Nah, it was worth a try, but yeah, quite a bit of I think pushing's going to be the best bet, to be honest. Right, I've improved it quite a bit. I couldn't really show you in here, but I pushed off of here, my little contraption. I've heated it up. I actually pushed off the back of the seat rail a little bit as well, because that is firmly in there. That's a solid bit of metal, so I thought I'd give it a go, and it actually worked. I didn't go mad. It didn't take much pushing out, to be honest, and to an extent I have hammered it back a bit as well, because it came out a bit too much. It's just that bottom bit, really. I mean, I can straighten up the other bits, but it's that bottom bit more than anything that needs to go, needs to come out more. The ridge there where they join, that needs to be pushed back, which is not a problem, of course. I can do that, no problem. But I think what I'm going to do, rather than trying to use the pulling thing, is I am going to use the welding thing. So I'm going to get the paint off of that down there, and then I'm going to use the welding machine and see if we can do it that way. Because of course it doesn't have to be perfect like a panel, does it? It just needs to be straight. Then we'll obviously put paint back on it, but it doesn't need to be perfect like a, you know, a wing or something. It's a matter of getting it straight so everything fits properly. But yeah, let's do it. I'm pretty optimistic that I can get this done. Before I set that all up, I've just moved the car back just so it doesn't interfere with the neighbours when he comes home from work. But something I noticed, so I've pushed that out, as you know, down there, and look, that lines up now. Remember that was pushed in before? And now it lines up. It's got a good gap, and before it wasn't flush between there and there. Now it is completely flush. That's weird. I wonder why. Don't know. Maybe something was putting pressure on it here, maybe. Where I've pushed it out. Could be this here, I suppose. Don't know. That's really strange. I wasn't expecting that, which is because it did have me a little bit concerned actually. That, but yeah, no, it's perfect. Perfect both sides. So as you know, I've got one of these, but this is the only thing that's wrong with it. So that could be repaired, you know. I'm wondering whether to try and sell this, because what I was going to do is take all the bits off of it. Actually, no, because apart from the badge, it hasn't got anything on that, so I've got to take everything off of this except for the badge. So what I was going to do is see if I could get the spoiler off. I'm not quite sure how to get that off without damaging it. I think it's glued on. Whether I can heat it up, get something underneath. I don't know, I'll have to look into doing that. I'll have a look on YouTube, see how people are doing it. But I've got to take the wiper off, I've got to take the motor off, you know, the motor for that. I've got to take everything off. So, but there is potentially some value in that, isn't there, really? I don't know. That's too much for me to repair. I mean, I would have had a go, but because it's on that body line again. But it might be of value to someone. I might rather, before I take it all apart, or before I take the badge and the spoiler off, I'll stick it on eBay. If someone wants one in this colour and they've got the know-how how to do that, then I might be able to get, I don't know. Silly thing is, if I take that spoiler off, I could probably get more for that spoiler and potentially the glass and the badge than I could for a damaged boot. So really it seems a bit silly doing that. Yeah, maybe I will do that, because I'll probably get, how much I get for that badge? 20 quid? Nothing wrong with it. Spoiler? 30, 40, 50 quid? I don't know. If someone's got one and they want to put, or got, you know, got a grey car on, or even another colour, and they want to add a spoiler to it, how much is the value in that? I reckon that's probably worth, yeah, I think it's silly. It seems silly, but I think it's probably better off breaking it up. Can't get it open now, that's because I've had the battery. Oh, the battery is disconnected. Oh God, I've got to connect it again now. Never mind, anyway, let's get it set up and let's get on with it. Recording quite a lot of it on time lapse, but it was just, I've spent over an hour on that, and as you can see, it's not pretty, but it's pretty straight. Done a lot of work on that. You could see that I wasn't having an awful lot of luck with the rings. I couldn't get them to, I mean, first of all, I was using the wrong attachment, but once I was using the right attachment, they're not welding on properly. I don't know if it's because it was all out of shape and I couldn't get any, and I have taken the paint off, but there was areas where I couldn't take the paint off. So whether it's because it wasn't getting a good earth, I don't know, but it just didn't seem to want to stick very well. So I resorted to, which I didn't film, I resorted to the slide hammer, drilling holes and the slide hammer, and that's done the job actually, heating it up, doing that. I've actually got behind with a blunt screwdriver and the hammer, helped it along, and as I say, it's not pretty, but it's relatively straight. So what I'm going to do, all the drill holes, I'm going to get my welding kit out next week, and I'll weld up all those holes, just to put a little bit of weld in them all. And then I will grind them down, I will get some primer on, get some top coat on, and then where the seam sealer is on this side, I will slap loads of seam sealer on, which will sort of improve the look of it. I mean, you can't see it anyway, can you? The main thing was getting it straight. That was the point, and it is quite straight now. Yeah. As I say, the teller will be when I put in the rivet just there, and I'm hoping I haven't made that hole too big. Otherwise, I might have to, I don't know, maybe possibly get a washer the other side or something when I rivet it. I might have to do that. I've had that issue before with in other places, but yeah, I'm relatively pleased with it. It's relatively straight. My only issue I can think of with the, I think I mentioned it earlier, is whether, no, that's not it, that's the lights. Where is it? Oh, ouch. I don't know. I think I'll have to double check. See, that's the wire for the lights. Is that the wire for the reversing sensors, or is there another one? I can't see. I can't remember what I undid now. I think there must be. You know what? I think that must be for the sensors as well. So that might be a bit of an issue. Only because this car, as I showed you earlier, had 4 sensors, and the new bumper has only got 3. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. So it may mean that the wiring's different, which will be a nuisance. Yeah, that's the light, isn't it? So let's have a look at this bumper actually. We can look at the wiring harnesses. So this is the old one. Yeah, see that's, yeah, look, it's completely different. So that's just for the wiring. That's just for these sensors. So I wonder if there's a way. Actually, let's just look at this one. Are they different? I bet they're different. Yeah, they are. They're bloody different, aren't they? It's a different plug. Oh, for God's sake, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was going to be an issue. Okay. Yes. Well, that's a nuisance. So that's a big chunky one. I'm going to put this on anyway, but yeah. We might have some wiring issues there, so we'll have to try and find out what the wiring loom is. I'm sure someone on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups, has done it. Shame, no? I thought that, apart from wiring in the new lights, I thought this was going to be not plug and play, because obviously we got the lights and we got wire into those. But I didn't know the sensors were going to be different. Why do they have to change these things? Stupid. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm just going to put this bumper on. We'll come straight back. Right. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've got the new bumper on, obviously in the wrong colour. I've got the one light in, not wired obviously, but it does look better, doesn't it? Wrong colour insert of course, but I'll be taking those out and painting them. Now I bought that light ages ago. I got that quite cheap. Can't remember what it was, but it's quite cheap. And I bought another 2 lights. What I didn't realise when I bought them, and it wasn't the seller's fault, it was my fault for not reading the listing properly, was the whole complete lens was off. Now I've tried to super glue it. I haven't got any tiger seal, so I've tried super gluing it, but the super glue is still wet because I wanted to put it in. So what I've done, I've just put some tape over the hole. I've just tucked the bumper in that side to hold it in place. I've not put any bolts in or anything. That's enough to hold it. And then here, obviously, the reason that's low is because, of course, we've got no bracket. So when the bracket's in there, and hopefully it'll be in the right position. I can't do it one-handed. Of course, that will lift that into position where it should be. But it all fits nice. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I think this is going to be all right. Let's just close that down. Shuts nice. Gap's nice. Yeah, I think this is going to work fine. Yeah, it's going to look so much better with a obviously a little better once it's grey, of course, but I think it looks so much better as a facelift bumper. It's just the wiring issues. I'm still thinking about how we're going to do this. So what I'm contemplating somehow is to take these out, because these are wired into the actual wiring loom. Although I've got to change the wiring loom, I'm going to have to change the plug, aren't I? Or I was actually going to solder I wasn't going to bother with plugs. I was just going to solder straight onto the wires, because I have got the wiring diagram, but I didn't know that the wiring diagram, or I didn't know that the wires, when you've got sensors, includes the sensors. I thought they were separate, but they're not. So my thoughts are, if I take those sensors out, cut the wires on the loom, because we won't need them, wire the lights in like we were going to, and wire the bottom lights in like we were going to. Although we are using looms for the lights, it's just the looms for down here that we're going to cut and join wires. And then take out the 4 that we've got on this bumper, disconnect one of them, disconnect the wires from one of them, and then, assuming they're the same size, put the other 3 into that bumper. They're in the right colour already anyway. That might work, hopefully. That seems like a better way of doing it. Did you notice I bought a new gate? Yeah, so that might be the best option, I think. And then that way, because we're using the original loom for the wires, that will then connect to the loom that's down there, because the loom that's on the car is only the loom for the parking sensors. So that way, that would work. I'm thinking out loud, but I've obviously, you know, I value your opinion. So what do you think? Do you think that's good? I think that'll work. Yeah, because that's just the sensors, isn't it? Of course, the wire that we got down there is just the sensors. So we just plug those sensors in, job done. And then we just wire the lights in as normal, as we were going to do anyway. Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it? Assuming that the holes are the same size and we can just connect 3 rather than having all 4. We can't just leave it dangling, we'll have to disconnect it. But that should work, actually. Yeah, I reckon that'll work. Yeah, I think. Whether it will come up with an error because the one sensor is disconnected or not, I don't know. I suppose we'll have to try it, won't we? Anyway, that's it for now. I will come back next week. When we come back next week, we'll hopefully have a bracket that we can put that on. We can get all that dressed behind there and get some sealant on it, seam sealer and what have you. And then I think once we've done that, I suppose before we do the hatch, we might as well get the wiring done, I think, for the lights. I might buy another light just in case that one's not very good, because I've got another left hand, but I haven't got another right hand. So I think I might do that. See if I can get one cheap enough. But that's it for now. So yeah, we'll be back later on next week, which will be in this video. Yeah, see you then. Quick interlude at the weekend. I thought I'd give it a wash. It hasn't had a wash since I've had it, and it was so filthy. Look at it now. It's shining like a new pin. All those blood or whatever it was that was on it are all gone. Well, you've just seen me doing most of it on time lapse, but yeah, needed to be done. It's looking beautiful now. Nice and clean. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure I've got one of those to replace that. Yeah, it's looking great. So we'll come back out next week, see if we can get that rear bit finished off, get this bumper painted. So yeah, just wanted to quickly show you. All nice and clean. I haven't touched the inside yet, but that needs a good clean. Not too bad. It isn't too bad at all, actually. Seats are the usual grubby set. Oh, we've already done this. I've done a walk around them. I don't need to do it again. Right, okay, so yeah, we'll see you in a few days' time when we finish that back off. Right, welcome back. We are back on it again. So today we are gonna, I've got the gasless MIG welding machine out. A lot of you have never seen this before. In fact, I don't think probably any of you have seen this before, to be honest. Yeah, sorry about that. The postman just came, probably wondered why I was talking to myself. So yeah, so as I was saying, I don't think any of you have probably seen the old MIG welder before. I've only really used it once, which is when I set fire to the car. It's another story. I think I've probably told you about that before. So basically I was putting a new inner wing on a car. I have got some CCTV of it. If I can find that CCTV, see that camera up there? That camera up there captured it a bit. You can see the flames lapping. So what I was doing a new wing, and a new inner wing, sorry, and some of the weld dropped onto the tyre, and it started to smoke, and then there was flames coming out. Since then I've bought a flame-proof blanket, which I don't need to use today because there's nothing that I'm going to catch on fire, but yeah, actually no, sorry, it wasn't the tyre. To protect the tyre and the wheel, I'd put some, I think it was a towel or something over it, or duvet, no, an old duvet cover, that was it, or an old sheet, and it was that caught fire. So luckily it's not far to go to get to the hose, and I managed to put it out. If I can find that footage, I'm sure I've still got it somewhere. If I can find it, I'll add it in here so you can see it. So yeah, let's get on with it. So I've just put a new reel of the wire in. That was a job and a half. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the holes using this. I can't remember, did I buy this from Lidl's? I can't remember now. I think I might have bought it from Lidl's. So basically you feed the cable through. It's on a little spool. You feed it through there. You earth it. I've earthed it on the exhaust. I don't know if that's going to be sufficient. And then you whack it in the holes. So I'm just going to put little spot welds over the top of the holes, and then we'll grind them down and then paint it. So that's it. I'm going to set you up on time lapse. Let's do it. Right, that's time to get this painted. So what I'm going to do with this, so the old bumper I took apart and I took the diffuser off the bottom. Now these diffusers, not sure if I pointed this out already. Oh, actually these are different, these ones. On the old bumpers they're plastic welds. On these ones they're actually tabs, so I can take this one off. Oh, that's good. And the same goes for those as well. They're stuck on the old bumper. But on these bumpers, these are using tabs as well, hopefully no glue. So I can take them out as well, and obviously take the lights out. Oh, I'm pleased about that, that's good. Because I was expecting to have to mask it off, which wouldn't be particularly easy. So at least I can take that off, that's really good, I'm pleased about that. So, okay, let's get these apart. We have got the bumper all rubbed down. It's rubbed down and jet washed. I'm just waiting for it to dry in the sun properly, and then I will put the old panel wipe on. I'll let that dry, and then I'll go over it with a tack cloth, and then we'll get some primer on it. Got that bit there, rubbed down. What I've also done, if we come up here, so I've taken everything off, as you saw, and on my previous facelift car, this bit was in colour of the car, and you can buy these already painted in the colour of the car. They're quite expensive, but I thought as soon as I've got this off, I might as well paint it as well, so I'm going to paint this grey as well. So I think all we're going to have to do is give it a light rub down and a clean, and then obviously prime it and paint it and lacquer it, and then we just put it back on there. Because you do have to take these off. You can't, well, it would be difficult to paint it. And I know I've seen people ask how to do this in the past, because they've seen them on other people's cars. I think sometimes they come out of the factory like it. I don't know if it's an optional extra or what, but I have seen people selling like new ones already painted, on eBay. But yeah, as soon as it's off and we're painting the bumper anyway, I thought we might as well paint it. A light dusting of primer and then a nice thick coat on everything, and we did have a couple of runs when I was using this this thing. I was getting drips, and as you can see I've got a bit of a drip there, there's a bit of a drip there, and a bit of a drip there, oh, and there as well. So I've ignored them and I'll block them down when I block the whole thing down. I've left the sensors in there because what I'm thinking, I've taped up the wires so you can't see, but what I'm thinking is we're going to take this off, but I'm thinking that I think those sensors are the same. I think the connection's the same, so we can use my old loom, take that loom off, use my old loom, because of course this loom has got the different plug on it, whereas my old loom has got the correct plug that I need on it. So hopefully that'll do the trick. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and have some lunch and come back out, we'll block that down, clean it off, let it dry, and we'll get some top coat on. So we've got 2 coats of top coat. I always call it top coat. 2 coats of base coat, which looks pretty good. There is one little mark there, and the reason of that is because a fly landed on it. Wasn't much I could do about that, unfortunately. Apart from that, looks good. Hopefully no flies will land on it when I put the clear on it. So yeah, this looks good. Just going to leave it a little bit longer. It is dry now, but I just want to leave it a little bit longer before I put the clear on. And once we've got that on, I think we'll probably wrap this video up. And then tomorrow we can, if we can get the clear on today, tomorrow we can cut and polish it and then put it all back together again. But we'll do that on the next video. But yeah, let's get some clear on it. Right, that's me 3 coats of lacquer, last one being a nice wet coat, and it's looking great, looking really good. The only thing was I got to run there. I think I did this bit and then I did this bit and I overlapped too much here and it's caused a run, so I'll have to sort that out tomorrow. I'll have to cut that back and polish it up, but apart from that, tiny bit orange peel, not very much, very little actually. It's nice, it's very good. Oh, another fly has just landed on it, look. That's the trouble when you're doing it outside. No, that'll have to be picked off tomorrow. And these bits are okay as well. Yeah, looks good. So that's the end of the first day of the repair. Pleased with that bumper. I'll have to pick out that little insect tomorrow. Pain that is, but that happens when you're painting outside, but generally I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. So tomorrow we're going to attack, or on the next video I'm going to start attacking the wiring. Once I've put all that back together and cut and polished it, we'll get it on, and then we'll start doing the wiring for this back, and then after that we'll do the hatch. So that'll be coming on the next video. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, click on the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.